guys, and welcome to another Sims 4 speed build. Today, we're doing a little bit of like an ode to a mid-century modern. It's definitely more sort of like 60s, 70s in some places, a little bit more modern in others, but this one was kind of fun. The roofing took a while to figure out. I would argue that I'm only about 80% happy with the roofing, and the layout took a while, but I think I actually really like the layout for the most part, although the bathrooms are weird. Although I'm kind of okay with that, because like bathrooms are weird in houses from the 60s and 70s. They just can be, like the layout can be weird. So it ended up working out okay on that one. I would say the only thing that like I really truly don't like in the layout is that I had to bring the platforms up into a stair for the closet, which will make sense in a minute when you see the closet. And that was the only thing where I was like, that's annoying, but it's not the worst because we have a sunken living room and stuff. Basically, this house was kind of inspired because I've been watching a lot of the Brady Bunch, I've been watching a lot of old throwback cartoons and stuff, I've been watching the Jetsons, to be honest with you. And so I was like, that's such a fun style that like I bet the Sims would do like fairly well, and it did. There's actually a lot of mid-mod furniture, and I don't think I fully realized how much until I started building this house, and I was like, there's a pretty good solution for everything. The kitchen didn't turn out the way I was imagining it, but I think it turned out pretty cool. The front of the house, I go back and forth on. I think it's okay. It's cool. It doesn't fit the neighborhood because we're in Oasis Springs, and we're actually in, well, you can see we're in the like fancy housing complex that I imagine is on a golf course. That's all Mediterranean houses. But I wanted the big lot. I wanted like a giant lot because this is a big house. This is like an exceptionally large house for no good reasons. It's technically 3-bedroom, although I have one styled as an office. Although technically, depending what jurisdiction you're in, none of the bedrooms count because none of them have closets. But that's a regional thing. When I used to live in Seattle, I remember being told that there were certain rooms you couldn't count as bedrooms because they don't have closets. But I think where I live now, you can count them as long as you could basically fit a bedroom in there, and there has to be like a way to escape on a fire. So there has to be some sort of like window with egress. Anyways, I digress. Point being, in The Sims it doesn't matter. In The Sims it could be 3 bedrooms. I have one styled as a guest room, one styled as an office, and then one as the giant oversized master. I honestly could have probably gotten closer to 5 bedrooms out of this house if I had wanted to squish things, but I chose not to. I wanted big and airy. So I did that instead, and I really like the way the office looked out. I really imagine this being a Sims career where you could work from home a lot, where your Sim does a lot of like after hours kind of stuff, and needs a big office. So that's what I imagine. You're gonna see a couple of huge cuts there, and I tried to get rid of all of the like the what's the word I'm looking for? The pauses in recording and stuff, but work has been kind of crazy the last few weeks. We've had a lot of like weird random, like doesn't even relate to the product we're building kind of nonsense, and it got in the way a little bit of recording. There was so many times where I'd be off work, I'd have put in my time, all good, happy with what I'd done for the day, got home, started working here, and then would get an email I had to answer. And in fact, while we're talking, that little pause was probably me answering an email or hearing some like interesting semi-bad news, that kind of thing. Crazy. And unfortunately there's a few builds that like got affected in that way where I was like, I think I got them all cut because I don't always remember to pause the recording. I've tried, I'm getting better at it the more it's happening, but I don't always remember to pause the recording, and then when I'm going through I try to like cut out all the breaks, but I don't always catch them. Anyways, point being is you might see some of that, so I do apologize. And there might just be some bits that didn't get recorded as well, which is unfortunate. I'm having an issue where my recording software, so like it records in chunks. I really should find something that just like long records, but honestly, the 10-minute chunks are kind of nice because then if I lose footage or it gets weird, I only usually lose about 10 minutes. But it's stopped telling me sometimes when it's done recording. Like it'll occasionally just like be done, and it won't tell me, so I think it's still recording because I have no concept of time. Like I do not, and so I have no idea when 10 minutes is up. And especially when I'm building, because like I'm listening to music or I'm listening to a podcast, I don't know how long it takes to talk about like sharks or something, whatever podcast I'm listening to. And so, yeah, that happened quite a bit with this house, because longer builds, it tends to happen more where I'm like, oh, I have no idea what I missed because I don't know how long I've been recording for. This kitchen, I originally wanted to do dark woods. I had really kind of leaned into the idea. So originally, for a little bit of context, I had wanted this house to be, there's a specific architect, and his name has gone out of my head now, and I would search it up. The computer I'm recording on does not, it's not connected to the internet at the moment. I forget his name. But there's a specific, like, that we kind of think of when we think of, like, mid-century modern in the United States, where it's, like, that Southern California indoor-outdoor living, very light colors, very light woods. That was what I was originally going for. And then as this house sort of came together, I was like, okay, well, that didn't quite happen in the way that I wanted it to. It kind of took on a life of its own. So then I wanted to start really leaning into, like, the harvest gold and the bright orange and the really deep wood tones of the 70s. The problem, like, and that was then the goal kind of with the kitchen, and like there's a lot of houses around here to draw inspiration from in that style. The problem is while objectively I totally get it, it was kind of cool, I don't actually like that, and so the longer I build with it, I'm like, I can't keep doing this. I don't like this color. So I ended up kind of trying to go with like just crazy brighter colors, and I did a lot of paneling and a lot of wood tones, but I tried to stick with more of like that orangey, sort of tanny, lighter colored wood tone. Lots of oranges and blues in this house. I tried to keep a color scheme throughout, and I tried really hard to edit. I don't know how well it worked, but I tried really hard to have an editing eye, because this isn't a little country home or something like that like I usually build, where I can clutter it up within an inch of its life. I wanted this to still stay a little bit more modern, a little bit more clean, and so I tried to have an editing eye and keep with a similar color scheme throughout the whole house, keep it very flowy and very almost staged, as though perhaps it's a show house instead of a living here kind of house. But so that was kind of the mix I ended up going with. I just couldn't stick with the dark browns, and I don't think they even lasted very long. I think a lot of that was like in my head, just being like, no, I don't want dark browns, I don't want it. But I also didn't get like the super ultra white light, indoor outdoor Southern California living quite like I had wanted either. Although I will say the living dining kitchen area turned out closer to that than I gave it credit for in the beginning. Sometimes when you're in the middle of the build, you're just like, this is frustrating me and making me kind of mad. Also, side note, this one's kind of weird because I like briefly filled the whole house with furniture, like just trying to plan it out, which I always kind of do, but I took it a little bit farther than usual, so it almost looks like I decorate the house twice, because like I just got the basic layout, made sure I was happy with it, and then came back and did kind of each room individually. And that was because by the time I started doing this, I had realized I was probably gonna get interrupted all evening long from work. Multiple evenings. I just finished up week 2 of basically being on call 24 hours, which, to clarify, I have a great job. I love my job, but it every once in a while, even in a perfectly good job, sometimes things just go to like heck in handbasket. You know how it is. It's fine. But by this point in the build, I had been like, okay, I need to start figuring out how to build in a way where I can bail really fast and work on something, and it's not going to affect the video, it's not going to confuse me later on when I come back to the build, that kind of thing. And so that's what I started doing. So you're gonna see me do like, and maybe I start with this room, but you see I'm kind of bouncing around and getting like, I end up placing furniture in a lot of different places and just kind of bouncing around and trying to figure out like the basic layout and stuff. Get the big furniture in and then come back and decorate and change things out a little bit. It was kind of interesting. It wasn't bad. I also was putting up bathrooms like crazy. I did not want to do the bathrooms. You'll see in the bathroom to the left of the screen right now, I have 2 doors, one from the guest room and one from the hallway. Kind of a pseudo Jack and Jill a little bit. Intentional, because there's no half bath. There could be a half bath. Oh, there we go. I'm not sure what was up with that. There could be a half bath. But I didn't like, that would have cut, well, actually I could have, because I was going to say this would have cut this bathroom really small, and it totally would have, but I don't know, now I'm thinking about it, I could have put a half bath in maybe here. Anyways, I wanted a way for, like, from the kitchen, you'd be able to reach a bathroom, and that's what this is. but I also wanted a guest bath. So you got sort of a pseudo Jack and Jill was the point I was making. Also, I apologize for that weirdness on the screen. I'm not really sure what that was. I did not see that in editing, and I can't promise it'll do that in editing. So I might be talking about something you guys don't see. This first time I've seen it is when I'm playing it back for myself. I watch the videos, like I like smoosh them all together, all my little clips, and then I do all the like video editing, and then I record the audio, and then I figure out based on my energy level and the build what music needs to go in, and then I smush that all together and I put it out for y'all. But I've noticed a couple times where because I just watched it in Windows Movie Maker because I don't really have like a fancy video watching thing. Anyways, I just watch it in that. Every once in a while I'll be like, oh, that was weird, and then I can't find for the life of me where in the video it was weird because it's not doing that anywhere else but in Windows Movie Maker. That was a digression. Anyways, if you saw the weirdness, like the black screen and then the like jitteriness, I do apologize. Maybe I'll try to like edit that out or something. But I don't know what that was. I didn't see that in editing. Interesting. I usually catch like long stretches of black screen. Usually. Not always, but usually. Sometimes. Anyways, here's where we're gonna start seeing the paneling stuff. I loved this wallpaper. I can't remember if I stuck it anywhere or not. I think I went with paneling instead, and I don't think I used it. But I had not seen that wallpaper before, and I am in love with it. Yeah, see, there's a cut, a little bit of a break followed by a cut. That was an email. I wonder if that was the email where I found out one of our offices got vandalized. That was annoying. But, oh, and then the flooring was so pretty. I did put carpet in. I put carpet in the second living room, and I put carpet in the bedrooms. Yeah, that sounds right. There's no shag, obviously, in the game, and I'm okay with that. My grandma, God bless her. So, she moved out of the house I remember her having as, like, a small child. When I was in, like, the 5th or 6th grade, I think. Because she lived on the coast near us, and then she moved back. Like, my whole family's from where I live now, but a lot of us were over on the coast, and I talk about going to school and stuff, I think, before in videos on the coast. Not on the coast, like Seattle, outside of Seattle. But she had lived over there for a while, so I remember that house growing up, and that house had pink, long shag carpeting. Like, could get a pocket car stuck in it. Shag carpeting. As a child, and like dark paneling on the walls, like kind of like the paneling on the wall here, but like the color of the fireplace wall, dark paneling, and a church organ. Why? I don't know. I really don't know. Actually, I should ask her why she had. Maybe she played. Maybe someone in the house. Maybe my great grandma played. Great grandma lived with her for a while. I digress. Anyways, hot, like, fuchsia pink shag carpeting. So I'm very familiar with shag carpeting. I don't know how she kept that carpeting clean. I can't imagine living in a house that had shag carpeting, because that would be, especially with dogs, ugh, it would be gross all of the time. So I picked the one that looked kind of like Berber. Because I thought that made sense, but I did want carpeting, again, as sort of a throwback, and I do a lot of stone on the steps. You'll see around because my other grandparents' home, which I also remember that my grandpa moved out of when my grandma passed away, had a lot of those like sort of 60s, 70s stone accents to it. It was so funny seeing, because like both of my grandparents' houses when I was small were sort of like these time capsules a little bit, but vastly different, which was very cool. Now my grandma lives in a cute little farmhouse that does still have a lot of paneling, to be fair. A lot in the kitchen, but it's like almost harvest gold wood. Golden oak isn't quite right. Like, everyone kind of knows, like, the 90s golden oak. It's not quite that color. It's darker, but it's not quite super dark. This was me trying to decide. I think I was maybe showing my brother here. Yeah, this was me trying to decide if the kitchen looked too cluttered. This was me trying to use my editing eye. I don't have a very good one of those. What was I talking about? Oh, the cabinets. Yeah, she's got... One day I'm going to build her house, because her house is interesting, but it's little, but it's got a sunken living room, and I think it would be fun with the platforms. Like, when we first got platforms, that was the first thing I was going to build, and I don't know why I didn't. Probably just craziness in real life, but I think it'd be fun to build her house. But anyways, she has a lot of paneling, but it's more like country farmhouse paneling now. It's not quite the like absolute time capsule. I remember her house being on the coast. Also, she had a bathroom like the one that we built, except hers, it was a 1-bathroom house, right? Yes, it was a 1-bathroom house, and it went from the hallway into the bathroom, and then from the bathroom you could go into her closet, and then from her closet you could go into her master bedroom, and you could lock the closet door from either side, so she could lock the door in the closet so that you couldn't get into her closet from the bathroom, but you could also lock from the bathroom side so that you couldn't get into the bathroom from her closet. I think I said that right. And then you could also lock the hallway door, obviously. But it was long and skinny, kind of like this one, and actually very similar in that you walked by the shower to get into like the toilet and sink area. But yeah, hers went into her closet to give a little bit more privacy, I think, and she had a pretty like a walk-through, pretty decent sized closet. But only 1 bathroom, so she had to share with her 3 boys. God bless her for raising 3 boys, all within a couple years of each other, and my dad being one of them, and good land. I tease her, I always ask how she felt raising the 3 Stooges. I love my uncles and my dad. We unfortunately lost an uncle in 2020, which was really sad. He was great. But I'm very grateful for the family members I still have. 2020 was hard. 2021 is proving to be hard. But we're getting through it. It'll be better. It'll be better when we come out in the end. This room I love. I want to say here, this room turned out a little hotel-y, but I think it's mostly just because I was trying to do it as a guest room. I was like, she's gonna have friends come stay over. Eventually, you could convert it to a little kids' room. Honestly, you could have 2 or 3 kids in here. It's a huge room. It is a monster of a room. The rooms in this house are gigantic, and you could have a couple of kids in the other room. You could easily fill up the space limit for Sims in this house and be fine, like easily. I went with a wild pattern on the bed because I liked the color scheme, and it kind of matched the color scheme in the living room, and like I said, I tried to stay pretty consistent in my colors throughout, and I went pretty low-key with the outside in a similar way, just trying to be a little bit chill about my decor. I ended up moving doors around briefly, and I can't remember if I do that now or a little bit later and I come back to it, but I end up having to move doors around and stuff to make it all fit the way I want it to. I think it's because I initially moved stuff in the bathroom. I honestly cannot remember now. I didn't think about it ahead of time, and you can absolutely tell in the bathroom, in like the hallway bathroom is what we'll call it, the non-master bathroom. There's no mirrors by the sink. There's a window, and the lights are weird, but I couldn't figure it out. So we just have to kind of live with the decisions we've made. In real life, I had put little mirrors down there, but you can't move mirrors in The Sims because they're interactable items. They have to be at a certain height for Sims to interact with them, which seems odd. Like, I'll be honest with you, I don't really understand why, but that's totally fine. So I just put a long mirror there and called it good enough for government work. It would be super annoying to put makeup on there, but it is what it is. And I couldn't figure out how to kind of block the toilet in a way that wasn't super awkward, and so I just put giant closets there because I thought, oh, we're definitely gonna need space, and you could put extra towels and stuff in there for like your guests. Would be good. I did break tradition and I went with a green theme in the office here. A little bit more light colored, tried to do lots of plants because I imagine if you have to be in there for 8 hours a day, you want it to be kind of light and airy. I can't remember if I end up changing the wall color, if I stick with this paneling the whole time. I remember I took like a month of Sundays to pick the art for this wall. And then as I was taking pictures, I came back in and the art had all disappeared. I was like, are you for real? Are you for real? And I couldn't remember what I did, but I think I got it back right. Possibly. I hope. I really wanted to show my brother this house. For those of you who are ever wondering, like, where does Amanda get a second opinion? Does she ever get a second opinion? Yes, I make my brother, who does not care about The Sims, but has a pretty good eye for just, like, this is pretty or not, make him come in and stare at things. So I'm gonna make him come in and stare at this later and be like, look what I did! Which is a little bit of a side note, but yeah, or occasionally I'll mention, like, yeah, I came in and asked my brother what he thought, and that is absolutely what's happening, is me coming in and being like, Christopher, is this too much? So if it's ever really, really bad, we can blame him too. Don't tell him I said that, but we can totally blame him too. I put, oh goodness, camera. Oh yeah, so I was hunting around. You only saw it briefly there because I was going wild with the camera. But I kept that plant. There's the tall plant in the dining room. I don't know if that's where it came from initially. At one point I logged in and there was that plant in my inventory, and I was like, oh, I don't know where that came from. So I stuck it in the dining room because I thought, well, maybe it went in the dining room. And then every time I logged in, after that, it was in my inventory, and I was like, I'm pretty sure it's coming from the same corner because it's disappearing every time I log in. But then it didn't the final time, so I must have gotten it placed just right where it was happy. But I don't understand why that plant in particular was just not pleased. It was not pleased to stick around. Also, it's not like conflicting with anything. I don't have it in a wall. I don't have it like in the table or anything. Like I could see it if they were like, this is move objects and you had it floating. It was placed on a tile grid. Like, I don't understand. I don't understand this game sometimes. I really struggled in here too because I wanted a little sunken space, because I liked the idea of like this being an entertaining house, but I liked the idea also of like if you had guests and you had people staying and all of this is me just kind of doing color schemes back and forth. If you had guests staying and all of that, you'd want a little space to go that's just yours. And so in the master, there is a little like sitting area and a teeny little desk space, so that in the event that you had people in your house, you were entertaining guests, you were entertaining clients, you had a place to go and be reclusive a little bit. Yeah, here's where I have to finagle with all the doors a little bit to fit the talent and everything. Just decorating. I went really low-key with the bathrooms. I am once again going through an uninspired bathroom phase, and I think that's just who I am. I did clutter up the bathrooms a little bit more because I like to make it so they can't cook on the counters in the bathroom, because I have experienced Sims walking all the way to the bathroom to cut things, and then walking all the way back to the kitchen to make food or bake a cake or whatever, and that's ridiculous. So I try to clutter the bathroom counters when I use counters so that they can't. They'll probably put plates on all of the half walls though, which will be super annoying in this house. I don't really know what to do about that because I didn't want to clutter all the half walls, but I would be prepared for that. Here I'm fixing up the outside because I ended up not liking the white. I just thought it looked unfinished. I like a white stucco exterior on a house occasionally, but in The Sims, for whatever reason, it just doesn't read very well most of the time, is my opinion. Like, some people do it super well. I can't figure out how to do it. And I went through and picked a little bit of a darker color scheme and stuff. And struggled with the brickery a little bit, but I think I finally went with this set because it looked very sort of mid-century modern. And very low-key. Well, it started really low-key with the landscaping. It got a little wild because like I put a pond in and stuff, but still like realistically probably pretty maintainable because it's a lot of wildflowers and things like that. I wasn't going to, but I ended up putting columns on every corner just again to make it look more finished, which I'm sure just shot the budget all sorts of wild and crazy, but I didn't actually look. Here's me adjusting a lot of things that I managed to like knock over because I moved a wall accidentally off camera. I hate that. I hate when that happens. Even with move objects on, sometimes you'll move a wall and it's like, we've deleted everything you've ever owned. I believe, yeah, here I am testing a little bit. I had to test a couple things because he got stuck in there and I was like, is the house broken or is it him? And then this, I played with this for too long. I think I cut most of it out, but I didn't realize that umbrella was semi-transparent, which seems to me to defeat the purpose of an umbrella, but maybe what do I know? I guess maybe it's blocking UV, not like, still, like to me it seems like it sort of defeats the point of an umbrella. This patio kept growing too because I kept wanting rounded edges, so I kept rounding things off, so it just kept getting like progressively bigger and funkier. And here I'm playing with the new pond tool. When you guys see this, it'll be a little bit after, so this won't be exciting and new, but I'm recording this when the pond tool is still exciting and new. I've been recording ahead a little bit because I know going into the holidays, it's gonna be nuts. It's gonna be crazy, and it's probably gonna start in October, so I've been trying to pre-record enough that I can kind of keep myself ahead during the holidays when I don't have time. And last year, I had just started recording in September. I was like, just gotten brave to do YouTube, and everything went crazy in October, and I was like, okay, I'm going to prepare for that. So by the time you guys see this, I think it'll be like mid-September-ish probably, but I'm recording it at the very beginning of August. Woo! So like this is still fairly new, because the pack came out July 22nd, I think. Um, yeah, that was me playing with the fireflies. I love the fireflies. I am obsessed with the fact that there's dragonflies in the game. I have always had a little bit of a fascination with dragonflies. I don't know what that is. I had dragonflies in my glasses for a while. I was gifted a dragonfly necklace. I used to live in a house that was on a dragonfly breeding ground, and they come back each year. They're very traditional. That's not the right word. They come back each year. And we had a rare dragonfly on our property that had some interesting color variants and mutations and stuff. So it was very beautiful. That's one of the few things I miss a lot is the dragonflies. Although we've started getting dragonflies around here this year, and a little bit last year I started to see them, and I think it's because of the canal. So I'm very excited about that. I do love dragonflies. I think they're absolutely beautiful. So, which was a total, digression, I apologize, but here's the house. It stormed for 3 days straight in my game, so you're getting stormy screenshots, which I think makes the inside look super cool. But since I've now been talking for a crazy long time, and you're probably tired of me, I'm gonna leave you here. I hope you enjoyed the screenshots. I hope you liked the build. I had a lot of fun with this one. Hope you're having a great day, and staying safe, and staying cool, and I will talk to y'all in the next one.